My beloved child, the moment you are stepping into is not a vague coincidence, nor is it just another sequence of ordinary days strung together. This is the appointed time. I have set a divine intersection between what has passed and what is yet to come, where every delay, every distraction, and every hesitation must give way to a shift of eternal weight. You once thought that life was nothing more than a continuous journey of days, where you could freely decide when to rise, when to rest, and when to change. But now I speak to you, there are moments that cannot be ignored, opportunities that, if missed, will never return in the same form. The season you are in is one of those opportunities. Tonight is unlike any other night before it. It carries with it the urgency of heaven, the stirring of the Spirit, and the echo of a call you cannot pretend not to hear. This is a holy invitation to step into a new reality, not through compromise, but through complete surrender. You have cried out many times for change, pleading with me to open a door that would release you from the wearisome cycle of long-dragging days. Yet when the opportunity drew near, you hesitated, sought reasons to delay, or waited for further confirmation from others. My child, I tell you the truth. The confirmation you need does not lie in human opinion, but in the voice of mine that has already been resounding in your heart for a long time. I have whispered through dreams that startled you awake, through situations that seemed random, but were etched deeply into your memory, through restlessness you could not explain. These were not illusions, but the mercy of my hand urging you to awaken before it was too late. But now whispers are no longer enough. This is the moment I must shake the very air around you, forcing your soul to confront the truth. If you do not respond, the door will close and the opportunity will be handed to another. Not because I desire to punish you, but because the divine design does not wait upon your hesitation. Do you realize, my child, that the enemy has been watching your every step? He knows exactly the weaknesses that make you prone to hesitation, to delay, to compromise. He does not need to destroy you with great sins. All he needs to do is plant within you the thought that there is still plenty of time, that urgency is unnecessary. And when you yield to that lie, your soul falls out of rhythm with heaven's cadence. He does not need to make you openly rebel. He only needs you to hesitate long enough for the moment to slip away. That, my child, is the most dangerous trap. For hesitation often disguises itself as wisdom, but at its core it is still disobedience. You must understand this. Clearly, delay is never neutral. It carries a cost. It bears consequences. It erodes faith and hardens the heart. That is why today I must let this message resound so powerfully, leaving no room for confusion. I want you to know that heaven is leaning in, waiting for your answer, while hell is hoping you will slumber in false safety. The choice is in your hands, but its impact will reach far beyond your own life. You have wondered why your heart feels unsettled, why your sleep is restless, why an unseen weight presses upon your mind whenever you try to ignore the call. That unrest is not meaningless disorder, but the stirring of the Holy Spirit pulling you back so that you do not drift astray. I do not want you to sink into temporary comfort while the storm approaches. I have promised never to abandon you, and I remain true to that promise. But my love does not allow me to stay silent as you edge closer to the cliff of hesitation. I speak plainly to protect you, to prepare you, to steady you when the shaking comes. As it is written, "Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation." 2 Corinthians 6:2. My child, this very moment is your appointed time. It is not merely a word of encouragement, it is a command engraved into the eternal blueprint of your life. You need to take a closer look at the signs around you, the doors that have closed, without reason, the people you thought would stay, but have walked away, the plans that suddenly collapsed before you could respond. None of this is punishment. It is preparation meant to sever your dependence on what cannot sustain you in the season ahead. I have allowed these tremors to reveal that you cannot build on a foundation that is temporary. They had to fall apart so that you might recognize that only I am the solid rock. Without the shaking, you would cling to what is fleeting. But now that those things no longer stand, you can see clearly that I remain unshaken, I remain present, and I am calling you into complete obedience. Do not mourn what has been lost. Understand instead that I am preparing something better for you, steadier, stronger, and holier. My child, I know your heart longs for purpose, for clarity, for a path that is clearly marked. And now I say to you that purpose is standing right before you, yet it will not unfold through reasoning, nor through the kind of safety the world offers. It will only open when you choose to let go of hesitation and walk in surrender. Do not wait until everything becomes clear before you act, because true faith does not require all the answers before stepping forward. True faith is hearing my voice and obeying, even when the rest of the picture is still hidden in shadow. You may never see the entire road, but you will see my hand guiding you with every step. And as you walk, the doors will open, the light will shine on your path, and you will know that I have long gone before you. Beloved one, the movements in the spiritual realm are no longer distant or vague. They have become so tangible that even your soul can feel the stirring like waves endlessly striking the shore. Do not dismiss this as fleeting emotion, for I have placed an urgency in the atmosphere around you that cannot be detected with natural eyes. Nothing that is happening now is random. The sudden shifts in rhythm, the unusual pauses amid the noise, even the inexplicable restlessness within you, all of these are reminders that I am moving and you must be ready. If you continue to lull yourself with false security, you will miss what I have prepared. But if you listen closely, you will recognize that this is the moment I am leading you out of the weary cycle of the old and into a new unveiling. I see the times you have asked yourself, is God truly speaking, or is this just my own thought? My child, the answer is clear. I am speaking, I am guiding, I am watching over you. The question is not whether I speak, but whether you are still sensitive enough to hear my voice amid the clamor. Many times I have sent someone to you with just a single sentence, and that sentence was the very answer to what you had wrestled with for so long. Many times I have arranged for a door to close, not as punishment, but to protect you from a path leading to destruction. Yet instead of recognizing mercy, you complained because things did not go your way. My child, I want to open your eyes to see that all of it has been held in the hand of providence. You are not here by accident. Every moment carries a purpose, and right now that purpose is resounding louder than ever. You must discern between true peace and false comfort. True peace comes from me. It remains even in the storm, even when you cannot grasp all the details. But false comfort comes from the enemy. It delays you. It lulls you into complacency. It whispers that everything is fine, there is no need to hurry. That is the deceptive lullaby that numbs your spiritual urgency and causes you to overlook my call. But today I shatter that illusion. I come to awaken you, to stir you, so you cannot remain asleep in compromise. I want your heart to burn with desire, with courage, to rise and walk forward, even if that step leads you into unfamiliar ground. Familiarity may feel safe, but it also holds you back from fullness. Only when you dare to let go will you truly step into the new. Do not think that I desire for you to face trials on your own. I am your refuge, your strength, your unshakable fortress. You do not walk alone, for I go before you, walk beside you, and follow behind you. I surround you with my presence like a hedge no enemy can break through, but you must choose to step inside that hedge through surrender and trust. If you keep trying to resolve everything by your own wisdom, you will soon find yourself exhausted. But when you release control and allow me to act, you will witness a protection and a guidance that surpasses all understanding. I remind you of this truth. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 3:7-5. This is not an abstract promise, but a living reality meant for you in this very moment. My beloved, you often think that only when you are fully prepared will you be able to move forward. But in truth, your readiness is not found in what you have accumulated, but in your obedience. Obedience is the key that opens every door. If you wait until circumstances are perfect, you will be waiting forever. If you wait until there is no trace of fear, you will never act. But if you choose to place your full trust in me, you will see fear dissolve with each step of obedience. Do not let fear determine your pace. Do not let doubt chain your movement. Let my voice shape your path. For when I speak, the universe aligns. When I call, the heavens shift. And when I send you, no force can stand in the way. Do you remember those moments in the past when you dared to walk by faith, only to be astonished that I had already arranged everything ahead of you? That was not luck. It was the evidence that I always go before you. And so it is today. Even if you cannot yet see the full picture, believe that I have already prepared what you need. Every resource, every support, every word of encouragement will come right on time. You do not need to chase after them. You need only to walk in obedience, and I will cause what is needed to come to you. But if you hesitate, you will miss this divine alignment. For holy orchestration only works when you step in at the appointed time, and that time is not tomorrow, it is now. My child, know that what I speak to you today is not merely to comfort, but to equip, to refine, and to open a turning point that is vital. Do not treat this as a gentle suggestion that you can hear and set aside. This is a call that carries eternal weight. It touches your destiny, influences those around you, and opens or closes doors that will shape the years to come. You cannot treat this as a fleeting inspiration, nor can you delay in hopes of a better opportunity. Tomorrow has never been guaranteed. I have not promised you another day so that you can postpone today's obedience. Therefore, do not deceive yourself into thinking you can wait longer. Remember, hesitation has caused many in the past to lose the very portion I had prepared for them, and I do not desire that for you. Look again at the sacred history you have known. Noah heard my voice and built the ark while the skies were still clear. Lot fled the city at once when the angels gave warning. The disciples left their nets and livelihoods the moment they heard my call. They did not wait until everything was certain. They did not delay to seek confirmation from others. They needed only one thing, my voice. And when they responded, the doors of salvation, of purpose, of power were opened. You are standing before a moment just like that. You may pretend you have not heard it, but your soul knows the voice is echoing. And when you choose obedience, you will step into a divine current that nothing can hinder. But if you turn away, you will forfeit the portion that was already set apart for you. I know the struggle within your heart. On one side lies the safety of the familiar, and on the other the call that is both challenging and filled with promise. You fear that if you step forward, you will lose what you are holding on to. But my child, I speak the truth. What you lose in obedience is nothing compared to what you will gain. What I have prepared for you goes beyond imagination. You see loss, but I see release. You see risk, but I see opportunity. You see danger, but I see protection. Do not allow your fleshly eyes to define reality. Let faith be the light that reveals to you that walking with me is never a gamble but a guaranteed certainty. When you place your feet upon the rock, that I am no force will be able to sweep you away. I do not promise that you will never face storms, but I promise that the storms will not destroy you when you are in me. I do not promise that the way will always be easy, but I promise that you will always be upheld. I do not promise that you will escape every trial, but I promise that in the midst of those trials you will see my power revealed. Therefore, do not let fear hold you back. Let trust lead you. Let this holy call become your compass, so that every step you take is no longer defined by circumstances but by my voice. You must remember, hesitation does not only delay your future, It also affects those whom I have destined for you to touch. There are souls waiting for your obedience, so that they might be strengthened, delivered, and encouraged. There are doors that will open for your family for generations to come only if you choose to step forward today. Your calling has never been merely personal. It carries a communal weight, a generational impact, and the significance of a spiritual legacy. Do not think that if you refuse, no one will be affected. In truth, your delay will cause many others to lose their opportunity as well. My child, understand that your yes echoes far louder than you realize. It shakes the heavens, it makes hell tremble, and it sparks the eruption of things never seen before. Beloved one, I have waited for this moment, not because I was uncertain, but because mercy granted you time to prepare. Yet now the clock of mercy is striking its final notes for this season. The door will not remain open forever. The light will not wait indefinitely. If you turn away, you will see darkness take its place. Not because I withdraw my love, but because opportunity belongs to a moment, and that moment will pass if ignored. Do not let yourself look back with regret, wishing you had responded while there was still time. I am speaking clearly. I am knocking, I am calling. You need only to open your heart to say yes, to take one step. When you do, I will do the rest. Therefore, my child, stop arguing, stop delaying, stop searching for further confirmation. The confirmation has already been imprinted within your spirit, has already resounded in the atmosphere around you, has already pulsed continuously within your heart. This is no longer the time to ask, "Is it real?" but the time to answer, "I am ready." This is no longer the time to search for reasons, but the time to make a choice, and this choice will shape the entirety of your future. My child, when I call you to step forward, I am not only calling you to leave behind the old, but also preparing you to enter the new. That preparation is not a series of outward rituals, but a deep process within the soul. I care more about your heart than any action you could perform. I want you to become a pure vessel, ready to carry the flow of life, not an empty form, meant only for display. Therefore, before I bring you into the outpouring of purpose, I must shape you, cleanse you, and refine you. Do not see this as punishment, but as a privilege. For I discipline only those I love, and I refine only those I have chosen to carry great responsibility. Like gold in the fire, only when it is melted does it become pure and radiant. So it is with you. Only when you allow my refining work will you have the strength to stand firm in the storms of the coming season. I see within you the parts that still cling to self-control. You believe that you must hold the reins in order to secure safety, yet in truth, that grip has become a chain keeping you from freedom. The more you strive to keep, the more you fear to lose. But when you release control and allow me to govern, you will discover a lightness and a true liberty that nothing else can give. I do not desire you to live in constant unease, leaning on fragile supports that cannot last. I long for you to place your trust in the only firm foundation, me alone. Only when you surrender will you find security. Only when you relinquish the urge to control will you truly enter into divine guidance. And my child, I remind you of this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. This is the sure promise for the journey on which I am leading you. Perhaps you have prayed many times for breakthrough, yet you have been surprised to see doors suddenly slam shut. My child, that is not my silence, nor is it my rejection. It is my protection. I know what could harm you, what could cause you to stumble, what could swallow up the calling within you. Therefore I close paths you thought were opportunities, so that you do not wander into dead ends. You feel the pain of loss, but understand this, that loss is the way I shield you from disaster. You can only see the present moment, but I see the whole landscape. You gaze at what lies just ahead, but I behold from the beginning to the end. So when I block this road, it is because I am opening another, broader, clearer, and perfectly prepared for you. My child, do not fear the refining. I know it makes you feel weak, exposed, even shaken. But look deeper. What is being stripped away is not meant to leave you empty, but to make room for what is new. What I am dismantling are the chains you unknowingly carried. You grew accustomed to habits, relationships, and expectations you thought were part of your life. Yet in truth, they were but shells that kept you from fullness. When I stir and shake, it is to peel away that outer layer, revealing the core I planted in you from the very beginning. I do not want you to merely survive. I want you to flourish. I do not want you to drift with the current. I want you to become a river that carries life. And for that to happen, you must endure a transformation at the very root. So often you believe you are ready. You feel wise enough, strong enough, steadfast enough. But my child, no one can truly be ready for what I am about to do unless they first yield to my shaping. Confidence in self will quickly collapse when the storm arrives. But confidence grounded in me will stand for. It does not rest on your ability, but on my power. This is why I allow trials not to break you, but to reveal that you cannot depend on your own strength. The more you recognize your limits, the more you will long to hold my hand, and when your hand rests in mine, you will discover strength far beyond what you ever imagined. Pause, my child, and ask yourself, what are you still clinging to that I have asked you to release? What relationship, compromise, habit, or thought still holds you back? Do not think you can step into the new season while carrying the burdens of the old. I do not build on shaky foundations. I only build upon the solid rock. Therefore, you must decide, release, and step forward, or cling and miss out. You cannot have both. I call you to choose obedience, for obedience opens the way to blessing. I have not called you to live in fear, but to live in freedom. Yet freedom comes only when you dare to cut loose the things that do not belong to me. My child, there are things you have held on to for so long that you believe releasing them would mean losing everything. Yet I tell you the truth, it is when you cling to what is no longer aligned with my will that true loss occurs. But when you dare to let go, you will discover life. Your mind has often been bound by images of the future you have drawn for yourself, by the scenarios you have tried to arrange in your own way. But I have not called you to live by your own design. I have called you to walk according to the divine blueprint inscribed before the foundation of the world. What I have prepared for you does not depend on your limited wisdom, nor can it be shaken by changing times. It stands firm, it is certain, and it will be revealed only when you yield. You often tell yourself, when I am stronger, when I am wiser, when I am ready enough, then I will step forward. But my child, you will never find yourself strong enough, for human strength will always meet its limit. It is in your weakness that my power is made known. It is in your lack that my abundance becomes complete. If you wait until you feel fully equipped, you will wait all your life. But if you step forward in trust, you will encounter provision from my hand, and you will know it was never your effort, but my mercy. You will learn that what you need is not perfection, but surrender. I see the struggle within you. One side longs to move forward, the other fears the cost. One side yearns for purpose, the other hesitates at sacrifice. But ask yourself, what is this sacrifice, truly? You will lose temporary comfort, but you will gain eternal freedom. You will let go of false security, but you will step into true shelter. You will release shallow control, but you will receive steady guidance. My child, what is it that you truly need? I know you fear uncertainty, but uncertainty in me is not an empty void. It is the space where miracles unfold. Uncertainty in me is not darkness. It is the place where light illuminates one step at a time. You once asked me, why do the familiar things collapse? Why do I lose what I thought was unshakable? My child, It is because I do not want you building your future on sand. Fragile foundations cannot withstand the storms of a new season. I allow them to be shaken so that you may see the truth. Only I am the solid rock. You must release your grip on what is decaying to build upon what cannot be moved. And when you choose to do so, you will experience true peace, a peace no one can take away. Not the fleeting peace of this world, but the peace that comes from me, a peace that endures even in the midst of storms. Do not think that walking with me means losing yourself. On the contrary, only in me will you truly find who you are. I am the one who created you. I know you better than anyone else. The deepest dreams of your heart, the untapped abilities, the sacred longings buried under layers of worry, all of these I planted within you long ago. As you walk in obedience, you will see those seeds rise, sprout, and bear fruit. You will realize that what you once called loss was merely the shedding of an old shell so new life could emerge. Do not forget the enemy will do all he can to convince you that surrendering to my will means missing out. He will whisper that you will be alone, that you will lack, that you will regret. But my child, he never speaks the truth. The truth is, I never call you out only to abandon you. I never take away without giving in return. I never lead you into a dead end. Everything I do carries a good purpose, even if you cannot yet understand it in the moment. If you dare to step forward, you will see my hand make a way where there is none. You will see provision arrive at the exact time it is needed. You will see doors open that you never imagined could exist. My child, what I desire from you is not perfection, but readiness. Readiness to let go of what is old, readiness to step into what is new, readiness to trust me, even when your eyes cannot yet see. It is this readiness that will make the difference. It is like a seed sown into the soil. Only when the seed dies can life spring forth. If you keep the seed in your hand, it will remain dry and lifeless. But when you release it into the earth, it dies to rise again as a living tree. So it is with you. If you are unwilling to let go, you will never experience the new life I have prepared. Yet if you dare to place everything in my hands, you will witness a life far greater than anything you could ever imagine. My child, the renewal I am calling you into is not a superficial change on the outside, but a complete transformation that begins within. I do not want you to merely alter your words or your outward behavior while still carrying the same old burdens deep inside. I want you to be renewed at the very roots, your thoughts, your heart, your perspective of yourself and of the world around you. If change does not flow from the depths of who you are, then any outward difference will be temporary and soon fade away. But when you allow me to renew your mind, you will discover a true transformation. You will begin to think with the wisdom of heaven, act with discernment from above, and see all things through the lens of faith instead of fear. As it is written, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 1:2-2. You may believe that this renewal is too difficult, that you cannot possibly detach yourself from what has been bound to you for so long. But my child, it is not by your strength that it is done. It is my Spirit who will accomplish this work within you, as long as you are willing to cooperate. I am not demanding that you become flawless in an instant. I am inviting you to open your heart, to take one step at a time, and to let me cleanse what has dimmed the light within you. With every act of obedience, another chain will be broken. With every surrender, a new door will open. This is a journey, and I walk with you through every step of it. What I require is not perfection, but honesty. A heart willing to say, I am not enough, but you are. I am weak, but you are strong. I do not know, but you know. In that place, true renewal begins to take hold within you. My child, understand that delaying your surrender does not merely cause you to miss opportunities, but it slowly hardens your heart against my call. Every time you hear but do not respond, you build another wall between yourself and spiritual sensitivity. There comes a point when distinguishing truth from deception, guidance from temptation, becomes difficult. I do not want this for you. I long for your heart to remain tender, your ears attentive, your spirit awake to every sign I send. This is why I emphasize urgency, not to burden you, but to protect you from the spiritual dullness the enemy longs to bring upon you. Remember also, renewal is not for you alone, but for all those your life will touch. When my light shines through you, it illuminates your family, your friends, and even strangers you have yet to meet. As you step out in renewal, others will see hope. As you obey, doors of deliverance will open for many souls. My child, your obedience is a seed planted into the lives of others. Do not underestimate this. Each decision you make affects not only your present, but the future of generations to come. You carry within you a sacred legacy, and that legacy can only be fulfilled when you walk into the renewal I have appointed for you. My child, I know you fear that renewal will take away the things you cherish. Yet I tell you, I do not take away to leave you impoverished. I take away so that you may be made richer. I do not take away to leave you lonely. I take away to bless you with relationships that are healthy and sacred. I do not take away to make you weak. I take away so that I may grant you new strength. What you perceive as loss is in truth only a transition, a step toward receiving what is more enduring. Trust that I never dismantle without intending to rebuild, and what I rebuild is always steadfast, always good, and always surpasses what you once clung to. My child, do not shrink back from transformation. Do not allow the past to hold you captive. Do not let fear root you in place. For if you do not move forward, you will remain trapped in an endless cycle, never touching the new that has been prepared. But when you take a step, you will find yourself opened, freed, and lifted into the calling long set apart for you. You will sense new life flowing within, see light breaking forth where darkness once covered. And you will know that this is not the fruit of your own effort, but the imprint of my grace upon you. This moment, my child, is sacred. It is not merely a crossing from one season to another, but a shaping of the path that lies ahead. You must decide either to continue delaying and lose what is set before you, or to surrender and step into new life. I call you to choose life, to choose obedience, to choose renewal, for only then will you truly enter into the eternal purpose written with your very name. My child, I know the world around you resounds with clashing voices, countless invitations and whispers that appear wise, yet only lead you away from truth. Amid all these sounds, what I desire most is that you still recognize my voice. You have prayed often, asking me to speak more clearly, to give you a sign that cannot be denied. But my child, I have always spoken. My voice is not always thunderous like the storm. Many times it comes as an unexpected stillness, a gentle stirring within your heart, a word spoken by someone you did not anticipate, or a dream that awakens your spirit. The question is not whether I am speaking, but whether your heart is quiet enough to listen and discern. I do not compete with the noise you permit to flood your mind. I do not force myself into the midst of your busyness. I call you into stillness, for it is in stillness that my voice becomes clearest. Remember the times when you paused, when you simply sat before me, not seeking answers, not chasing feelings, only desiring my presence. In those very moments, you received the deepest illumination. Discernment does not spring from haste, but from intimacy. When you remain close to me, it becomes easy to distinguish between the true and the false. You will no longer need to worry about being deceived, for the unity between you and me will bring every matter into light. My child, you once thought that spiritual discernment was a gift reserved only for certain chosen ones, prophets, leaders, or those with unique callings. But I tell you truly, It is the inheritance of every one of my children. Anyone who belongs to me can hear my voice, for I am the Father, and you are my child. No father withholds his desire to speak with his children. How much more would I, the Creator of the universe, long to speak with you? All you need is to open your heart to cultivate sensitivity and to persist in seeking. Do not mistake my silence for distance. Often I am silent so that you may learn trust, so that you may understand that my love is not anchored in fleeting emotions but rests upon an unshakable foundation. Even in silence I speak, through circumstances, through creation, through opportunities I arrange, through the quiet urging within your soul. If you remain attentive, you will realize that I have never ceased to speak into your life. My child, learn to discern between my voice and the voice of the enemy. My voice brings peace, but it is not a peace that lulls you into complacency. It is a peace that awakens courage to move forward. My voice brings clarity so that you will not wander aimlessly. My voice strengthens, encourages, and draws you nearer to the truth. But the voice of the enemy sows fear, confusion, condemnation, and delay. It convinces you that you are unworthy, that you are not enough, that the time has not yet come. Yet I declare to you, you have been redeemed at a great price. You are deeply loved, and the time is now. If you hear a voice pulling you away from me, it is not the true voice. If you hear a whisper that drives you into shame, that is not the conviction of the Spirit, but the condemnation of the enemy. Remember this, I convict only to lead you to repentance and renewal, never to trap you in guilt. My child, discernment is the key in this season. Without discernment, you will easily run after things that appear to resemble truth, but are in fact falsehood dressed in disguise. You are living in a time when darkness does not always reveal itself plainly, but often wears the appearance of light. It does not come to terrify, but to lull you to sleep. It does not come to destroy openly, but to slowly draw you away from the rhythm of heaven. That is why I warn you, be watchful, train your spiritual ears, and immerse yourself in my word daily. For when my word dwells in you, you will have the foundation to distinguish. When you pray, when you seek, when you remain sensitive to the prompting in your heart, you will not be deceived. My child, I do not only desire that you hear my voice for yourself, but also that you become a vessel through which my voice can reach others. This world is full of souls longing for a true word, but all they hear is noise and deception. I want to use you as an instrument so that through your words, your actions, and the way you live, they may encounter my voice. But this can only happen if you first learn to listen. You cannot share what you have never experienced. Therefore, let discernment become the very breath of your spirit. Do not speak hastily when you have not heard clearly. Do not act impulsively when you have not been led. Learn to walk in sensitivity, so that every step you take is in harmony with the rhythm of heaven. My child, I remind you that my voice will never contradict the written word. Scripture is the foundation, the standard, the unshakable measure. Every revelation, every guidance, every stirring must be tested against the light of that word. If any voice pulls you away from truth, be certain it does not come from me. I do not change, my word does not change, and my purpose does not change. Therefore, anchor your life upon my word, so that you will not be carried away by shifting winds of doctrine or fleeting trends. My child, quiet your soul. Do not allow busyness, worries, or anxieties to choke your ability to listen. Set aside time for stillness. Let your mind rest in my presence, and allow the Spirit to lead you deeper. It is in that stillness that you will hear what I have always been speaking, clear, living, and powerful. Do not seek confirmation from the world. Seek confirmation in me. Do not lend your ears to the countless noises. Lean into my whisper, small, gentle, yet full of power. When you do, you will know the path with certainty, and you will walk without fear. My child, you must understand that the enemy does not fear those who only profess faith with their lips, yet live unmoved and indifferent to my voice. What he truly fears is the one who is awake, the one who hears my word and acts immediately. He does not need to strip away all of your faith. He only needs to dull your sensitivity. For when you lose that sensitivity, you may hear my voice but fail to respond. You may see my signs yet no longer answer, and little by little you grow accustomed to compromise as though it were normal. This is the most dangerous strategy of darkness, not instant destruction but a slow and subtle lulling to sleep. It paralyzes you until delay itself begins to erode your destiny. You have felt it before, a strange restlessness, an unexplainable unease, as if something in the atmosphere was shifting. You sensed an urge to change, but then allowed busyness to cloud it, worries to quench it, and the voices of others to drown out the call within your spirit. My child, that is the very moment you lose your sharpness, for instead of entering into silence to hear me, you chose to chase after noise in search of confirmation. Yet the world's confirmation will always change, while my voice never shifts. That is why I call you back into stillness, where you may hear the sound of my spirit more clearly than all the clamor around you. Only when you are awake will you discern truth through every disguise. Awakening does not mean living in constant tension or fear. It is not the strained watchfulness of someone obsessed with missing out. True awakening is keeping your heart tender to the prompting of my spirit, a life rooted in my word, a continual connection through prayer and praise. Then you will not need to strain to find my voice among countless others, for my voice will naturally resonate within the heart already attuned to my presence. You will no longer fear missing my guidance, because union with me will keep you walking on the right path. Look back and see the times I have stirred you through what seemed insignificant, an unexpected delay that spared you from danger, a simple word from a stranger that caused you to pause and reflect a dream, reminding you of something long forgotten. These are clear proofs that I am always awakening, always calling, always guarding you from straying. But if you do not remain watchful, you will dismiss these moments as coincidence and miss the light hidden within them. I do not want you to walk as one blind while light shines all around. I want you to open your eyes, open your ears, open your heart to receive truth. Awakening also means refusing to be led by fleeting desires or worldly allurements. For darkness does not only paralyze through fear, it also lulls through comfort, convenience, and seductive ease. It whispers, "There is no rush, just enjoy the moment. There is nothing to worry about, tomorrow will take care of itself." But my child, tomorrow is never guaranteed. The appointed time is not in your hands but in mine. And I have declared today is the day of my calling, today is the moment of surrender. If you delay, you give the enemy more time to tighten his chains. Awakening is a strategy of spiritual defense. When you are awake, temptation cannot take you by surprise. You will recognize the schemes of darkness before they ensnare you. You will discern the difference between the urging of my spirit and the deception of disguised temptation. You will know when to stop, when to move, when to speak, and when to remain silent. Awakening shapes you into a true warrior, not one who merely reacts to circumstances, but one who is prepared to confront them. And my child, I have not called you merely to survive, but to live ready, steadfast, and empowered. My child, alertness is also the key that keeps you from spiritual numbness. When your soul drifts into slumber, you will begin to see compromise as something normal. You will grow accustomed to hearing my voice, yet offering no response, to seeing signs, yet taking no action. Slowly, indifference becomes a way of life, and your heart will close itself to revelation. But when you remain awake, even the smallest sign becomes an invitation, and even silence becomes an opportunity to listen more deeply. You will not despise what seems insignificant, because you know hidden within it lies divine guidance. It is this posture that preserves your sensitivity so that not a single moment is wasted. My child, I am not calling you to be awake so that you are exhausted by vigilance. I am calling you to be awake so that you may live a meaningful life, a life in harmony with the flow of heaven. I desire you to rise each day with the awareness that you are within the plan of the Creator, that not a moment is without purpose, and that every breath holds value. When you live in that awareness, you will no longer feel lost, for you will know exactly where you stand and the direction toward which you are moving. My child, understand that wakefulness is not merely a spiritual state, but a choice that must be renewed daily. It does not occur once and end there. It must be sustained just as a flame requires oil to keep burning. If you cease to be alert, that flame will slowly fade, giving darkness the chance to cover you. But when you nurture wakefulness through prayer, through meditating on my word, and through obedience in even the smallest details, that flame will never die out. It will shine not only for you, but also for those around you. Therefore, I call you not to let negligence extinguish the sacred seed I have sown. A single moment of carelessness can lead to a wrong decision, and one wrong decision can trigger a chain of consequences. Look at the people of Israel in the wilderness. They once heard my voice and witnessed my miracles, but their lack of wakefulness quickly led them astray. When Moses ascended the mountain, in only a short span of time they turned to worship a golden calf. Their faith was not lost all at once. They simply let their lack of vigilance open the door to compromise, and the result was that an entire generation wandered, losing the opportunity to enter the promised land. My child, I do not desire this to repeat in your life. I do not want you to miss the land I have promised because you fell asleep along the journey. I want you to remain awake so you may discern the true voice and not be deceived by empty yet dazzling appearances. My child, delay is the enemy of wakefulness. Each time you say later, you are handing more ground to darkness. Each time you excuse yourself with not yet, you pull yourself away from the divine rhythm. And the darkness knows this well. It does not need you to rebel openly. It only needs you to postpone long enough. That is why I press firmly upon your heart to understand that delay is not neutral. It carries a cost, and often that cost is not borne by you alone. There are people, there are generations, and there are opportunities tied to your response. If you hesitate, they too will be affected. Your responsibility extends beyond yourself. It reaches to those whom I have ordained for you to impact. My child, wakefulness carries blessings beyond imagination. When you choose immediate obedience, you will see doors open naturally in ways no human effort could arrange. You will witness the perfect alignment of people, timing, and opportunities orchestrated solely by me. You will see my hand guiding even the smallest details, fitting them together into a grand picture. This is the blessing of wakefulness. You do not chase after guidance, but guidance itself finds you because you are walking in step. You will experience a peace that no circumstance can steal, a confidence not born of yourself, but rooted in the certainty that I am going before you. You must remember that being spiritually awake does not mean being alone. Yes, it may set you apart from the majority. Yes, it may cause you to no longer blend in with those who only want to live in comfort. But that difference is not meant to isolate you. It is meant to make you a lighthouse. I have placed you as a light so that others may look at you and find their way to me. Awakening makes you a living testimony, showing that there is another path, another truth, another hope beyond what the world clings to. Do not fear that difference, for it is the evidence that you have been set apart for a holy purpose. My child, I know there are times when you grow weary. You feel that staying awake is a burden, something too difficult to maintain. but I remind you that it is my Spirit who empowers. You are not asked to remain watchful in your own strength. You need only to place yourself in my presence, and I will keep you alert. You need only to take a single step of obedience, and I will add strength. You need only to say yes, and I will take care of the rest. Spiritual awakening is not the result of human effort, but the fruit of a surrendered heart. When you yield, I will keep your eyes open, your ears sensitive, and your heart tender. Look around, my child. The world is moving faster than ever. Darkness is spreading in subtle and deceptive ways. You cannot withstand it with human wisdom or your own strength. Only spiritual alertness will keep you standing firm. And that watchfulness begins with today's decision. No hesitation, no delay, no compromise. Choose to listen, choose to discern, choose to obey. When you do, you will not only guard yourself, but also pave the way for many others. Your wakefulness will become a shield for your family, a flame that lights the way for a generation and a testimony of my power in this world. So rise up, my child, and remain awake. Do not fall asleep while opportunity is knocking. Do not turn away when the light is shining. Do not allow compromise to become a drug that lulls you into slumber. Choose to be alert, to live in sensitivity, to respond quickly to my voice. For today is the day I am calling. Today is the opportunity being given. Today is the moment for you to decide. And when you choose obedience, I promise that no power will be able to hinder you from stepping into fullness. What you are experiencing is not a sign of abandonment, but a demonstration of my providence. I am not standing at a distance observing. I am right there with you in the storm, using each gust of wind and every crashing wave to shape your spirit. For only under pressure do you see clearly what is genuine and what is merely a shell. And only when the shell is stripped away can you touch the unshakable core I have planted within you. Remember, my child, that a tree cannot grow deep roots unless the soil is broken apart. A seed cannot sprout unless it passes through the darkness beneath the ground. Gold cannot be purified unless it is tested in fire. And you too cannot become strong unless you undergo refining. I allow trials not to drive you into despair, but to reveal the hidden strength I have already placed inside you. You once thought yourself weak, but in that very weakness you will see my power revealed. You once thought you had reached a dead end, but in that very dead end you will see me open the way. You once thought you could not endure, but in that very endurance you will see me adding strength to you day by day. My child, what you need to understand is that trials are not meant to expose your failure, but to reveal my faithfulness. I do not allow anything to happen without purpose. Everything I let you go through carries the weight of training. When you face lack, it is the opportunity to learn that I am your provider. When you walk through loneliness, it is the moment you discover that I am the friend who never leaves. When you endure betrayal, it becomes the chance for you to trust in my unchanging love. And when you feel lost, that is when you learn that I am the way. If you look at every trial through this lens, you will see that nothing is wasted. All things work together to form a steadfast faith and a resilient heart. My child, do not let pain deceive you into thinking I have abandoned you. On the contrary, it is my presence that gives you the strength to endure pain. Just as a teacher never puts a student through an exam without first equipping them, I will never let you walk through a trial without giving you the strength to overcome it. You may not see it immediately, but my sustaining hand is there. I go before you, walk beside you, and remain behind you. Every tear you shed is not meaningless. It is a seed sown that will reap a harvest of comfort. Every sigh is not wasted. It is a silent prayer that I hear. Every step you take in hardship is remembered by me and will one day become a testimony. My child, remember that trials do not only refine your character, they also bear witness to the world. When others see you standing firm in the storm, they will know it is not by your strength, but by the one in whom you trust. When they see you keeping peace in the midst of adversity, they will realize there is a source of peace beyond understanding. When they see you unshaken, though circumstances shift, they will know there is a foundation that cannot be moved. In this way, your trials are not just a personal journey, but a stage for my glory. Your endurance will testify to many that I am alive, that I am at work, and that I am worthy of trust. My child, I remind you that storms do not last forever. Darkness does not cover endlessly. The season of trial will pass, and the dawn will break forth. Yet what matters is what you have learned in the night. For if you pass through without letting me teach you, the trial will repeat. But if you open your heart and learn, you will enter a new season with strength and wisdom you never had before. Trials are not meant to trap you in suffering, but to propel you forward. And when you look back, you will realize that what seemed set to destroy you has become the foundation that made you unshakable. My child, change the way you see trials. Do not view them as enemies, but as strict teachers. Do not see them as darkness, but as doors to the light. Do not see them as the end, but as the beginning of something new. You are not the victim of trials. You are the chosen one being refined through them. And when you pass through, you will carry within you a faith that cannot be shaken, an experience that cannot be replaced, and a closeness to me that nothing else could ever bring. My child, I want you to know that no trial happens outside of my plan. If I allow the storm to rise, it is because the storm carries a mission you have yet to see. Just as heavy rain washes away the dust that has long clung to the earth, trials cleanse the old habits and invisible burdens you hold inside. Just as soil must be broken before it can receive new seed, so your life must be shaken to make room for what I am planting. If everything stayed calm, you would have no reason to change. But it is through the shaking that you pause, reflect, and open your heart to walk a different path. My child, do you know why I do not allow everything to always be easy and favorable? It is because prolonged ease can lull you into complacency, while trials awaken your spirit and sharpen your discernment. When everything flows smoothly, you often rely on your own strength. But when storms arise, you learn to lean on me. When you lose what you once thought was indispensable, you discover that I am the only one who never changes. And when you are pushed to your limits, you realize that your faith can stretch farther than you imagined. That is why I do not fear when you are tested, for I know those very trials will uncover deeper treasures within you and ignite a stronger fire in your soul. My child, look back to the pages of Scripture. Abraham could not become the father of many nations without walking through the test of offering Isaac. Joseph could not stand in Pharaoh's palace without first enduring the pit, the prison, and betrayal. Daniel could not display my power without stepping into the lion's den. The three friends could not witness my presence walking with them without being thrown into the blazing furnace. And even my beloved Son, Jesus Christ, could not enter into the glory of resurrection without enduring the cross. Do you see? Every trial carries a purpose. No pain is meaningless when it rests in my hands. My child, do not fear the days when you feel loss. Loss is not the end, but the stepping stone toward greater restoration. You may think a closed door is the end of the road, but in truth it opens the way to a larger door. You may believe the shaking has destroyed the foundation, but it has actually revealed cracks that must be repaired in order to build stronger. You may feel darkness has swallowed you, but it is in that very darkness that the seed breaks open and begins to sprout, preparing for the day of light. Do not rush to conclude while you are still in the middle of the journey, for I am still writing the story, and the next chapter will reveal the meaning of the present one. My child, trials are like a training ground. No one enjoys strenuous exercise, but it is through those very exercises that muscles grow stronger and the body gains resilience. In the same way, your soul is trained through every pain, every surrender, every drop of sweat and tear, each time you choose to stand firm, instead of giving up, your spiritual strength multiplies. Each time you choose to trust, instead of doubting the roots of your faith, sink deeper. And each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, your heart becomes more like Christ. You may not see it immediately, but with every step a new person is being formed within you. My child, I want you to understand that trials not only shape your present but also prepare you for the future. What you learn today will become the equipment for bearing greater responsibility tomorrow. If you have not learned to trust when you had little, you will not have strength to trust when given much. If you have not learned to stand firm against a gentle breeze, you will not endure when the true storm arrives. If you have not experienced me in seasons of lack, you will struggle to recognize me even in abundance. That is why I allow you to walk through difficult roads, so that every step prepares you for the next. And when the appointed time comes, you will be ready to stand where I have destined you to be, with a matured faith and a steadfast heart. My child, see every trial as a bridge between the present and the future. That bridge may shake, it may cause fear, but it is the only path to carry you into a new season. You cannot remain forever on the old shore unless you dare to step onto that bridge, and I, the one who holds your hand, will not let you fall. I will guide you step by step, so that when you reach the other side and look back, you will realize that it was the very trial that led you into the promised land. My child, I want you to engrave this truth upon your heart. Trials are not merely a passage to endure, but they are the very crossroads between the old and the new. When you feel what is familiar slipping from your grasp, it is a sign that you are about to step into what has never been before. When everything within you is being shaken, it is the moment I am arranging a new order. Do not look at the tremors as collapse, but see them as the bell that announces a beginning. Just as dawn only follows the night, the harvest only comes after the seed has died, and restoration only arrives once the old has been stripped away, so trials do not last forever. They are the bridge that leads you to the new land I have promised. My child, you were never destined to live forever in the cycles of the past. The wounds, the fears, and the limitations of yesterday cannot be the chains that bind you tomorrow. I allow trials so that those shackles may be broken. Just as Israel had to leave Egypt and face the Red Sea, so too must you confront impossible moments to witness my hand at work. The Red Sea became the dividing line between slavery and freedom, between what was behind and what was ahead. In the same way, the trials in your life mark the boundary between old and new, between darkness and light, between bondage and liberty, between failure and victory. My child, I know that in the midst of trials you often ask, why me? But I say to you, because you are chosen. Those whom I love, I discipline. Those whom I appoint for great assignments, I prepare through deep trials. Do not mistake trials for abandonment. On the contrary, they are the seal of selection. Just as gold is tested in fire, you are being proven through every hardship. It is the fire that will make you shine brighter, purer, and stronger. And when you emerge, you will not be the same. You will bear the mark of one who has walked through fire while my hand held you. My child, remember that I will never allow a trial to exceed your strength. You may think you are on the brink of collapse, but I know your limits. I know when to lessen the load and when to add strength so that you may continue. I am the one who never errs in measuring. Even when you feel pressed down, it is an opportunity to draw upon my supernatural power. When you have nothing left to lean on, you will learn to lean on me. When you have nothing left to hold, you will discover that it is I who hold you. And when you see yourself as powerless, it is then that my power is displayed in its fullness. My child, you must understand that trials always carry a promise. There is no storm without a rainbow prepared beyond it. There is no tear that falls without my hand gathering it. There is no night that endures forever without yielding to the dawn. I have promised Those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. I have declared, all things work together for the good of those who love God. You are not walking in a meaningless journey. Every step is leading to the